Hello there, Lynx here, and welcome to Insatiable Creatures. From each.eu, link in the description. As per usual. Let's check it out.
Over there!
There is voiceover! Yes! I love games with voiceover. The thin girl tightens her grip on her boyfriend's arm. He in response flashes light in the direction of her cry, revealing a small pile of debris. The other two members of the party, a mousy girl with auburn hair and apprehensive boy, rejoin the couple.
What was that?
Ain't nothing, just some trash. It's alright, I'm here.
The teen snakes his arm around the thin girl's waist and pulls her close to him. Upon witnessing this, the mousy girl's expression becomes noticeably annoyed. Her eyes dart toward the other boy, now presently lifting the end of a tarp with his foot and peering beneath.
Why'd you pick this place again? It ain't all that scary.
And suddenly the place said, "Want me to be scary?" Anyway, his voice tears off as he moves the light from one corner of the staircase to the next.
Just mainly a bunch of garbage.
They all direct their attention to the mousy girl who had suggested exploring the abandoned hotel. She merely shrugs in reply. You know, in the end, this is a good game for October. A noise sounds from a spot just above them, at the top of the staircase. With great speed, the boy wielding a flashlight aims the beam in that direction. Okay, am I the only one who thinks that where he's aiming, right? The top window, it looks like there's an eye there. Isn't that, don't you guys think that?
Now that's more like it.
The slender blonde snaps her brown eyes shut and buries her face in her boyfriend's chest.
I don't like this. Please, can we just go home?
The boy grins, revealing a gap between his front teeth, and gives his girlfriend a reassuring squeeze before ascending the stairs. What a bastard. She wants to go home, man. Reluctantly, she follows. Don't go, girl. With trembling hands, the other boy seizes his glasses and wipes off the condensation forming on the lenses. Then he bounds up the stairs after the other two, muttering a prayer underneath his breath. He's shitting his pants, isn't he? The mousy girl stays put for several moments, her cobalt blue eyes watching her companions closely as they drift out of frame. She smiles dreamily and then pursues.
This coffee tastes terrible.
Thalia entered the small office, mug in hand. What happened? Why are we somewhere else? The college student sitting at the card table in the corner doesn't acknowledge her entrance. It's a nice room for. Instead, he checks his cell phone. There are no new messages, just what I do right now. No new fucking hell messages. God damn it! With a sigh, Lucas slides his phone back in his pocket and returns his attention to the laptop in front of him. Thalia releases an indignant grunt as she crosses the room to her desk and sits on its edge. She brings the mug to her lips again, taking another sip.
And despite that it tastes terrible, you still drink it.
Yeah, why would you drink it? She gives him a playful look of irritation, for she's secretly pleased to have coaxed a reaction out of him.
Anything interesting?
Lucas reaches for the mouse and downsizes his game of solitaire before picking up the paper. I have not played solitaire in ages.
I don't know, I haven't had time to check yet.
Thalia lifts her brow.
Really?
Really?
He's lying, of course. Lucas opens the paper and begins to read over the local news section, for his mind is elsewhere. With Thalia being the eccentric that she is, Lucas didn't anticipate serving as her Ta would be so boring. The regular meetings, in which they would supposed to edit the syllabus, usually devolved into conversation about current events. It was from these weekly meetings that Lucas learned his teacher was more than just an eccentric. Wait, she's your teacher, what? To put it bluntly, she's batshit crazy. Unfortunate, but otherwise commonplace events were, in her opinion, all the doing of aliens, specters, and other paranormal phenomena. The first time she made such a comment, Lucas choked on his coffee and it dribbled down onto his neatly pressed button up. He has since stopped dressing so formally.
Anything now?
There's a car show.
That's not interesting.
What do you mean?
Of course it isn't.
But she looks younger than him. How is she the teacher? Peeved, Thalia pushes herself off the desk and strides over to the tiny card table. She's beautiful. She positions her head next to Lucas's in an attempt to read over his shoulder.
Personal space, please.
Thalia takes a step back.
Can I borrow the paper when you're done?
Carefully, Lucas folds the paper and holds it out to her.
Here, help yourself.
While Thalia scans the paper. Paper. Do they still produce papers? Lucas takes a moment to check his phone again. No new messages. Same here, man. And it pisses me off.
Ooh, missing high schoolers.
I don't care.
That's something to be excited about?
This one's cute. Here, take a look.
What is she into? She holds the newspaper up to him, just inches away from his face. The picture shows a fair-headed, green-eyed boy. A hearty grin marks his face, revealing a slight gap between his front teeth. Oh. 3 other photos appear alongside his. One is of a slender girl with a small nose, lengthy blonde hair, and a heavy coating of makeup. Is that the people that went? No? Just before we got here? Next to that is a picture of a pimply boy with a small frame and garishly thick glasses. Lastly, there's a photo of a girl that could be described as plain or perhaps mousy. There is nothing especially remarkable about her appearance, save her piercing blue eyes.
Thanks, but I'm not really into guys or high schoolers.
High five, Lucas. I'm not into that myself too. No? Okay. I was into high schoolers when I was in high school. After that, no.
And
Why would I?
Should you be? How old are you again?
How interesting. Pretty boy's car was found parked outside of an abandoned hotel in Asheville, but the 4 still haven't been found.
Thalia paused for a moment, bringing her fist to her chin in a reflective gesture.
Why don't you go and investigate?
What?
Me? Why?
Why not?
Let me rephrase that. If you're so interested, why don't you do it?
He has a point.
I simply have too much to do already. Besides,
She absent-mindedly traces her finger along the edge of her desk. Also, I've mentioned it for sure before, but I love the shirt being tied up on a belly like this. Anyway, she absent-mindedly traces her finger along the edge of her desk, which I read a second ago.
I don't think you do enough around here.
Hey, I do plenty.
Yeah?
Really?
Lucas glanced at his downsized game of solitaire.
Yes.
Fine. You've worn me down.
That was easy.
If you investigate, I'll grade the students' midterms.
Lucas takes a moment to consider his option, then lets out a small groan.
Fine.
Holy crap. It wasn't a big hotel. Lucas zips up his jacket, hoping to fend off the chilly mid-October breeze. It is October. Feeling his leg vibrate, he promptly straightens and reaches into his pocket.
Jen?
Me looking at my phone? Nothing! He stares at the phone's display, once again seeing the painfully familiar blank screen. He sighs, his breath lingering in the air as the moisture condenses. Must have just been a shiver.
Can't stay mad at me forever.
No one is mad at me, okay? It's not that, I hope. He slides his phone back into his pocket and then wanders around the edges of the condemned hotel looking for an unsealed entrance. Soon he comes across a broken window. He climbs through, relishing the crunch of broken glass underneath. He snickers as he lands. Then he mills around the stair, landing, absent-mindedly kicking up the debris. Come on, it looks like a freaking eye, that window. It's just what you'd expect of a dilapidated building. Lame! Thalia is sure to be disappointed, but he thinks as he snaps pictures with his smartphone.
Just a few more.
20 underwhelming photos later, Lucas concludes that he has enough photographic evidence to pacify Thalia. As he turns to leave, an out-of-place sound catches his attention. What the fuck? After listening for a few moments, he decides that the sound is definitely that of a woman crying.
Nope.
Yeah, I would also think that, man. Lucas turns on his heel and heads toward the broken window through which he entered.
Hello?
Nope, 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 nope.
Yeah, run for your life, man.
Oh, thank goodness.
Fuck me. Slowly, Lucas turns and peers up at the girl observing him from the top of the staircase. She quickly dabs tears away from her blue eyes before racing toward him, nearly kicking at that flashlight in her descent.
What are you doing here?
You. She raises her eyes towards the ceiling, seemingly at a loss for words.
I got lost.
Huh? Lucas is sure that even she realizes that the ridiculousness of her statement, but before he can interrogate her further, she questions him.
What are you doing here?
Work.
The girl furrows her brow.
Okay, so neither of us has a good reason to be here.
Neither.
Let's just leave it at that and get out of here, okay?
Yeah. The girl grins and links her arm with his.
I was so scared before you came.
Well, I bet, but you're gonna have to let go of me if you want to leave. Unless you know another way out.
She gestures to the broken window with a nod of her head.
But I don't want to.
She's very suspicious. She wraps her arms around his waist, forming an X across his back with her forearms. Forearms. I don't know why I did that, sorry. Her grip is surprisingly strong. Due to the restriction of air, Lucas' next uttering comes out as hardly more than a whisper.
You can't leave until you let go of me.
I don't want to go. Not yet.
Hey!
Then you can stay by yourself. Startled, Lucas drops his cell phone. It lands next to a thick glasses lens, which Lucas notices for the first time. Unlike every other object in the room, the lenses are not coated in a thick layer of dust. Stomach churning, his eyes dart to the girl in front of him as he frantically attempts to recall the face of the lost teens. Her blue eyes are piercing just like the girl from the fourth photo, and yet her hair is different. It was auburn in the photo, wasn't it?
Did you hear about those missing teens?
Awful, right? So young. Makes me want to make the most of my time, you know?
She leans into him, nuzzling his cheek.
It's weird, you kind of look like one of them. Or rather, two of them, combined.
What? Her breath on his neck suddenly stops. For several moments, she doesn't move, doesn't even breathe. Then, in a jarringly quick movement, she jerks her head backwards.
You're crazy.
She throws her head skyward, bursting out into a hysterical laughter. It's them that Lucas notices the slight gap between her front teeth. They all fused together, what the fuck?
Just what? What the hell are you?
The girl stops laughing suddenly, and her pupils narrow into tiny slits.
I was going to allow you several minutes of bliss before I devoured you, but if you're going to be rude...
Her limbs are contorting now, growing longer and more wretched. Lucas winces as the beast's claws cut deep into his shoulders.
The high schoolers, you ate them?
The creature stretches its lips into a smile.
I prefer the term absorbed.
Its tongue slithers out of its mouth and slowly up his neck, then into his ear. Disgusting. With a pop, the creature's jaw unhinges, ready to swallow him whole like an anaconda. Disgusting. Then...
You're definitely making this up.
Thalia sits backwards in a foldable chair, directly across from Lucas, in the tiny teacher's office. Her full legs stretch out in front of her in an unladylike manner.
You asked what happened, didn't you?
Lucas points to a small band-aid on his cheek. Otherwise, he appears unharmed.
You don't have to get all pissy because I sent you on a wild goose chase.
I'm not. That's what really happened.
Whatever. I'm not mad. I mean, I got a good story out of it, didn't I?
She smiles at him before getting up and pouring herself another cup of coffee. Lucas seems pleased at her sudden interest in him, even if only for a little while, just a bit.
So, what's the point?
Point?
You know, the moral of the story, the lesson to be learned?
Monsters don't like a certain men's perfume. That eliminated it. I don't know.
Point?
You know, the moral of the story, the lesson to be learned?
Didn't you already say that? Haven't you already said that?
I hadn't thought about that.
He brings his fist up to his chin thoughtfully.
Women are monsters?
Thalia plops down in front of him again and takes a sip of her coffee.
I don't think so. How about...
Her eyes wander toward the ceiling as if she'll find inspiration there.
Women can become insatiable creatures when it comes to matters of the heart.
What?
I don't think that just applies to women, though.
True.
Thalia lowers her gaze, locking eyes with Lucas. For this moment only lasts a few seconds. It feels like much longer to Lucas, who holds his breath as she leans close and flicks his nose.
That's your punishment for lying to me.
What if he didn't lie?
What am I, a dog?
Abruptly, Thalia stands and announces that she has papers to grade. With a sore expression, she crosses the room and dumps the contents of a collapsible bin on her desk. As to be expected, not all of the papers land her desk. Some fall around it, while others, carried by an invisible current, glide across the room. You know, when you're a student and so on, you kinda... I wouldn't say don't appreciate it, but you don't really understand, I would say, the teaching and stuff. Like, for teachers, it's still work, right? And in the end, would you like to grade the tests and so on at home after work? I mean, basically doing the grading, checking the tests and so on. This is overtime you don't get paid for, if you think about it. Unless you do it at school. If I were a teacher, I would be grading... If I was a teacher, I would be grading the tests at school. I mean, guess again, it depends on the subject as well, right? But if it's something practical, so the better subjects, in my opinion, because I was better at those, you can leave the freaking students to do that, right? Unless they don't understand, then you need to explain. But if they kind of understand and they are capable of dealing with the exercises, you can grade the freaking tests then. So I guess then you don't do overtime and so on. Yeah. Basically what I'm getting at, it's crazy that they do overtime without getting paid by grading the freaking tests after work, at house and so on. Anyway, I don't know, it just hit me right now. She doesn't seem to mind, however. Lucas tends to retrieve the papers but stops when he feels his phone vibrate, prompting him to retrieve the device from his pocket. Is it? No, it's not. There's nothing. 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 He noticed that he has a new message from Jennifer. Lucas hesitates, glancing up at Thalia. Her full lips move slightly as she reads each word of the student's essay. Do we need Jennifer? We have Thalia. A strand of her dark hair falls forward, and she brushes it back without taking her eyes off of the paper. Lucas slides the phone back in the pocket and begins collecting the fallen papers.
Let me get those for you, Thalia.
That was so sweet of you.
That's what she was supposed to say. Kevin McLeod! Hell yeah! Every person that does YouTube knows this name. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I had quite a bit of fun with this. I mean, hey, if you could get some explanation from him how he managed to deal with the supposed monster, that would be awesome, but I guess it was a fake story. It was still pretty nice. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode as well, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next game, which I will actually still record the same day, which I actually need to still choose because I had 3 games chosen. One of them turned out to not be a full release, so I had to skip it, and now I recorded the second one, and I don't have the technically 4th one lined up, so I'll choose, I'll record. I'll see you tomorrow in that game that I don't know the title of yet. Hope you have a wonderful day.